This is Bx35 to Washington Heights George Washington Bridge. This stop is West Farms Road and Westchester Avenue. Next stop, East 167th Street and Southern Boulevard. Transfers available to Bx19. This stop is East 167th Street and Southern Boulevard. Next stop, East 169th Street and Intervale Avenue. This stop is East 169th Street and Intervale Avenue. Next stop, East 169th Street and Prospect Avenue. Transfers available to Bx17. This stop is East 169th Street and Prospect Avenue. Next stop, East 169th Street and Boston Road. Transfers available to Bx21. This stop is East 169th Street and Boston Road. Next stop, Franklin Avenue and East 169th Street. This stop is Franklin Avenue and East 169th Street. Next stop, East 168th Street and 3rd Avenue. Transfers available to Bx15 and Bx15 Limited. This stop is East 168th Street and 3rd Avenue. Next stop, East 168th Street and Park Avenue. This stop is East 168th Street and Park Avenue. Next stop, East 167th Street and Webster Avenue. Transfers available to Bx41 and Bx41 SBS. This stop is East 167th Street and Webster Avenue. Next stop, East 167th Street and Findlay Avenue. This stop is East 167th Street and Findlay Avenue. Next stop, East 167th Street and Morris Avenue. Transfers available to Bx32. This stop is East 167th Street and Morris Avenue. Next stop, East 167th Street and Grand Concourse. Transfers available to B&D trains. Bx1, Bx1 Limited and Bx2. This stop is East 167th Street and Grand Concourse. Next stop, East 167th Street and River Avenue. Transfers available to Ford train. This stop is East 167th Street and River Avenue. Next stop, Edward L. Grant Highway and West 169th Street. This stop is Edward L. Grant Highway and West 169th Street. Next stop, Edward L. Grant Highway and Jessup Avenue. Transfers available to Bx11. This stop is Edward L. Grant Highway and Jessup Avenue. Next stop, Edward L. Grant Highway and University Avenue. Transfers available to Bx11 and Bx13. This stop is Edward L. Grant Highway and University Avenue. Next stop, West 181st Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Transfers available to Bx3, Bx11, Bx13, Bx36, Bx36 Limited, M101 and M101 Limited. This stop is West 181st Street and Amsterdam Avenue. Next stop, West 181st Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. Transfers available to one train. M3, Bx3, Bx11, Bx13, Bx36 and Bx36 Limited. This stop is West 181st Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. Next stop, West 181st Street and Wadsworth Avenue. Transfers available to Bx3, Bx7, Bx11, Bx13, Bx36, Bx36 Limited and M100. This stop is West 181st Street and Wadsworth Avenue. Next stop, West 179th Street and Broadway. Transfers available to A train. George Washington Bridge Bus Station. M4, M4 Limited, M5, M5 Limited, Bx3, Bx7, Bx11, Bx13, Bx36, Bx36 Limited, M98 Limited and M100. This stop is West 179th Street and Broadway. This is Bx35 to Washington Heights George Washington Bridge.